Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to call this meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. So would everybody please stand? Where's the flag?
No.
Okay. All right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, may I ask everyone to remain standing for a moment of silence, and please keep our families in your prayers, especially the one that is suffering a loss of a child in our system. Thank you. Ms. Sawyer, may we have roll call now, please?
Sharon Warden,
Present.
Pam Pereza,
Here.
Rodney Walton,
Here.
Daniel Spence,
Here.
Dr. Sheila Williams, George Archuleta,
Here.
Virginia Houston. Thank you.
Ms. Houston, may I call on you for the ethics awareness statement, please?
Welcome to this meeting of the Mississippi State County Board of Education. It is my duty to remind members of this board that it is your responsibility to all conflicts of interest and potential conflicts. In accordance with Chapter 138 of North Carolina General Statute. As public servants, it is our duty to continually monitor, evaluate, and manage our personal, financial, and professional affairs in such a way as to ensure the absence of conflict or potential conflicts. Does any member know of any conflicts of interest or potential conflicts with respect to any matter coming before the board of review? That the record reflect that no conflicts.
Thank you, Ms. Houston. Thank you at all. I move that we approve the October 25th, 2021 regular meeting agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the meeting agenda for October 25th. Roll call, please. Ms. Sawyer.
Pam Pereza,
Yes.
Rodney Walton,
Yes.
Daniel Spence,
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams is not present this evening, George Archuleta,
Yes.
Virginia Houston.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, and now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Ingram for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, staff, members of the audience, and those watching at home. I have been conducting the first round of evaluations for principals during the last few days and plan to do the same for the executive team members prior to Thanksgiving. I generally have at least 3 formal meetings with each employee that's under my charge before the end of the year to discuss goals and progress towards attaining those goals. This morning, several of us traveled to the early college to congratulate Miss Amy Fife for being selected as the 2022 Principal of the Year for the Elizabeth City Pasquotank Public Schools. Ms. Fife is very deserving and will be formally recognized for her selection at a board meeting soon. Ms. Fife is here tonight for a different matter, but congratulations, Amy, and we'll formally recognize you for that a little bit later. So I guess you'll be honored twice. That's good. On November 1st, Ms. Haynes and I will be making a capital projects presentation to the county commissioners at 4 p.m. The presentation will be brief, about 10 to 15 minutes, to share with the county our progress, and all the credit in the world goes to Ms. Haynes for putting that presentation together. And I am looking forward to our professional development session with the board on Saturday, November 6th. We'll spend about 4 hours reviewing your shared values and concepts and developing your protocols. I expect the session to be beneficial to all, and I'll be very surprised if you don't really have a good time and think that's well worth your time. On November 15th at our board meeting, Dr. Barnett Berry will be on hand to introduce the Whole Child Community Schooling Initiative There are lots of federal dollars available for this initiative, and I'm looking forward to his visit in person on the 15th. We do have a state representative coming for that initiative coming to PW Moore on Friday for a school tour at PW Moore. So we're looking forward to that as well. We are holding steady with our COVID numbers. We're starting to see a leveling off of infections and quarantines. We had 3 reported today, I believe. Ms. Sawyer, I saw 3 in your email today, which is considerably better. So we'll continue to keep our fingers crossed and follow our protocols and try to improve them where we see a need to. Madam Chair, board members, members of the audience, that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Ingram. Now, I need a motion from the floor to approve prior minutes of meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for September 27th, 2021 and October 18th, 2021 as presented.
Second.
Okay. Been moved and seconded. We need a roll call vote.
Pam Pereza,
Yes.
Rodney Walton.
Yes.
Daniel Spence.
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams is not present this evening. George Archuleta.
Yes.
Virginia Houston.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, and now we have several people who are here for public comment, and we're going to begin with Mr. Sawyer.
Board chair, board members, if you already know I'm here, so I'll make the most out of my 4 minutes. After a background check, I feel personal, which one, I'll let you describe it. It's devastating, trying everything I can do to right this wrong. I feel that they did it. For 8 months now, I have been trying my hardest to get the information that I want to find out what they're holding over my head at 26 years. The school spokesperson and the last superintendent, for 8 months, I have asked them, tell me what it is so I can correct this. They will not tell me nothing. I need to know what they dug up after 26 years. So I can go to the attorney who contacted me to help me. What I want to do is what they're holding over my head, so I can get these expunged from my record, no matter what it costs. Something interesting happened last week that I found out from the attorney. A federal law has been broken here called the Fair Credit Reporting Agency. Employers who disqualify candidates based on background checks, finding legally bond to notify candidates of these decisions if you do not pass the background check. The employer is based by the Fair Credit Reporting Agency. Notify the employee of said charges, whether you are a paid employee or not. So what I'm asking tonight, I ask 2 things for this board tonight. First, order the school spokesperson to tell me in writing what it is that's holding over my head. So I can take this to my attorney and get it expunged so I can move forward with this. I thought this stuff was buried, but it was dug up, thrown in my face. My grandfather died in a 2 house in a big warehouse. And I'm planning on selling all of those when I turn 55 in a year and a half, and I can't get on my trust fund. And I want to scale down on life, sell everything, moving to a 55 and over neighborhood. So let's wind down. I've been working in my grandfather's warehouse for 12 years. I mean, since I'm 12 years old, it's time for me to get back. This is something else I don't want to be thrown in my face when it comes time to move into the neighborhood. I want it done. And y'all are her boss. It's not your boss, you're her boss. And the man for me, because it's going to take 6 to 9 months to get these exploited. Hopefully on time for next year's football kickoff. In the meantime, I ask that this board immediately bring a statement to the football team for the remainder of the season. There's only 5 weeks left. Only 5 weeks. I don't see any crime. And y'all giving me 5 weeks. Man, you put me on a probationary period for 5 weeks to finish the season. This team is ranked #1 in the state. And they have a great chance to win all the way. They make it to the state championship. And I'm not there. I'm gonna be sick. I remember when this team lost 5 games a year. I remember that. I was there. You know how many games we lose in 5 years now? 5. People are losing 5 a year to 5 in 5 years. I've been a part of this, and I deserve to be there. I got 17 years. Y'all can give 5 weeks back to me. I've never asked for a dime, never accepted a dime. Coach Warren has come to me on several occasions to move me up the line. This job is going to pay. I said, I'll move up the line as high as you want me to, but I'll never accept anything. Want no dime at all. What I want is the fair chance to get back. And I just ask that y'all get to me immediately. Let's finish this year out. Then let me come back in August, have this conference funds, whatever it may be. That way there'll be no issue.
Mr. Sawyer, your time is up.
Thank you. I'm not asking for that.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say what Mr. Boyd just walked in. He wasn't to give the sign. I asked that he be able to speak up, but if that's allowed. He was in practice, so that's why he's thinking. Thank you.
Mr. Duran,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the school board. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm here on behalf of Tony Sawyer also. He's very passionate about the Northeastern football team, as you could tell. I would hope you would reconsider letting him be a volunteer. I've known Tony for 25 years. He's always displayed a professional attitude and appearance. For 17 years, he's been the ball man at the games. His countless hours of volunteering, as well as his countless trips out of town on his own gas and vehicle, and his time are unmeasurable. I understand that over 25 years ago, he has a problem in his past. He's able to get a cab license for the last 15 years and be vetted through the police. He's able to pick a student up and drive them to school any morning that he wants to. I understand because of his past, you don't want him around the students. I respect that totally. But I think we're a country of second chances in the United States of America. As we look at some of the situations that have done, we had a man named John Hinckley shoot the president. They gave him a second chance. I would hope you would consider to give Tony Sawyer a second chance. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Duran. Mr. Tolson,
Good evening, board chair and board members. My name is Sean Tolson, and I'm an assistant coach at Northeastern High School on the football team. I've been involved with Northeastern athletics a little over 15 to 16 years in and out. I'm active duty U.S. Coast Guard, 25 years in counting, currently stationed here in Elizabeth City. I've known Mr. Sawyer since we were in high school together. I can only speak on the character and interactions I have with Mr. Sawyer. It's been nothing but top notch, and his cares and his passion. As you can see, as he presented to you guys, is top notch and above anybody else that I've met from Northeastern Athletics and the kids there. There's been countless times where he's even picked up kids that needed rides and take them from summer practices to and from over the last 12 years. I just ask that if you can and will, take a look and be transparent with him to let him know what he needs to be, or if it's a hard stop, let him know what the hard stop is, and we'll work from there to figure it out. So thank you very much for your time, and God bless you. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Tolson. Ms. Douglas,
Good evening. My name is Cheryl Douglas, and I'm a teacher at PCHS. I also serve as the Social Studies Department Chair, Mentor, and Interact Club Advisor. I would first like to thank the board for the opportunity and the willingness to hear staff concerns and suggestions. First, your faculty and staff are overwhelmed and exhausted. Please take the time to come into the schools and observe, even if it's just for a day. Watch and learn why we're exhausted. Let the teachers know ahead of time that you're coming in not to critique them, but to observe the challenges that we face each and every day. Visit the classrooms, talk to the teachers and staff members, and be open to ideas and suggestions. Help us make the changes necessary to ease the burden we all feel. I have provided a list of suggestions for the board to review. Implementing metal detectors, providing teacher pay coverage, and revamping substitute requirements to provide much needed coverage. Give teachers their desktop computers back. Provide extra Chromebooks for students who lose or forget theirs, and most important, provide transparency. Talk to your schools and staff before making decisions, as you did recently with the virtual learning program, which we all appreciated. Thank you so much. Finally, I took the time and energy that I don't seem to have anymore to come here tonight and represent not only myself, but those who are either afraid of losing their jobs if they speak, or have told me that they don't like to speak in public. Please let them know you hear them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Douglas.
Thank
Okay. Now typically we have 4 speakers or 5 speakers, maximum. We've had 4 speakers. It's my understanding that, no, okay. All right, so we're going to move on to the consent agenda. I need a motion from the floor to accept those items that are up for action.
I make the motion that we approve the consent agenda items, budget amendments, fundraisers, middle school camera system quote, consolidated school improvement plans for ECMS, PES, and PW Moore, face coverings, update, and I think that's everything that's on the consent agenda.
Okay. And I need a second for that
Second.
and a roll call vote.
Pam Perezza,
Yes.
Rodney Walton.
Yes.
Daniel Spence.
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams is not present this evening. George Archuleta.
Yes.
Virginia Houston.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on to Personalized Education Committee. Are there any other, I guess I should ask, are there any other agenda items that are either new or did not have prior approval for the consent agenda? That was on our agenda. Is there anything else? Okay. So we're going to move on with Ms. Perez's committee. Ms. Perez.
Okay, yes, we have Dr. Amy Spencer, who is going to begin our consolidated school improvement plan presentations.
Good evening, Board Chair Warden, Vice Chair and Committee Chair Perezza, board members. Yes. Tonight, we have principals from 2 of our 13 schools here to present their consolidated school improvement plans. These plans outline the goals and strategies for their schools as determined by the data collected and analyzed by their school. These areas are the focus for this school year. This evening, you will hear from Principal Schiffbauer from Weeksville Elementary School and Principal Fight from Elizabeth City Early College. Mr. Schiffbauer.
Good evening, Chair Warden, Vice Chair Perezza, Interim Superintendent Dr. Ingram, fellow board members, and distinguished guests. My name is Jim Schiffbauer, and I'm the principal of Weeksville Elementary. And I'm here to share with you my consolidated improvement plan for the school year 2021, 2022. Our vision for this year, we are one team, we have one dream. A little bit about Weeksville I would like to share with you our school narrative. We have 185 students, 87 of them are males, 98 are female, with 56% Caucasian and 34% African American. Our staff, we have 16 teachers on staff, 83% being fully licensed, 50% have advanced degrees, 2 with national board certification. As you can see in our chart, we have a veteran staff with 11 plus years of 12 teachers, 4 to 10 years of 2, and 4 teachers with 0 to 3 years of experience. Our attendance at Weeksville for our goal for this year is a 90% attendance rate. That is down, unfortunately, from last year based off of what COVID has started out with this first 9 weeks. We've had several quarantine and several outbreaks where we have to increase our goal just like data that I would like to share. We're focused on the Weeksville for this school year. Our target for reading EOCs is 70%. Out of our 90 third and fifth graders, we're looking to have 65 pass out of it. That's the third and the fifth. Our science, 18 out of 4 is 75%. This gives us an overall achievement score of a 71%, which would be a B, and we would also meet or exceed growth. How are we going to get there? Our goal is which strategy. Our first goal we decided we're going to focus on improving student academics through the MTSS framework. We're going to focus on the student academic needs, social, emotional needs. EOGs are going to be our data collection. How we're going to meet this. We set up PLCs, with weekly PLC meetings with our instructional coach. They're 90 minutes. We also have monthly data analysis, literacy and math. We also do differentiated small group instruction. We are a literacy-focused school, which we are doing a Jan Richardson model. We're also going to be implementing a school interventionist through our Title I fund. We're focusing on the MTSS. Our second goal, planning a highly effective staff with school culture that's going to promote teacher retention, focus on social emotional needs for the staff and students. Our strategy, we have morning meetings that are daily with students and staff. We also have a complete half-day built into the calendar where staff is able to collaborate per grade level. We send out two-way communications through Parent Square, positive parent phone calls, to our Bulldog messages. We also have monthly staff morale groups. We have several celebrations, and I do weekly shout-outs to the staff through my Bulldog Blaze newsletter as well. We also have what's called a quarterly happy hour, where we just kind of kick back and we do something either virtual or face-to-face, and we just sit and talk and actually just build relationships. Our third goal, we're effectively communicating to our parents and staff for this year, sharing a level of transparency with all stakeholders and creating a cultural learning for all. Our strategies to do this, I have a weekly Bulldog Blaze memo that goes out every Sunday night. I also have weekly reminders that center around parent communication through our Parent Square app that goes out every Sunday to parents. I also have our 90-minute PLCs, which gives us a chance to also have collaboration, but also to do our Jan Richardson deep learning. We also have virtual and face-to-face Title I events. We also discuss our MTSS model for our professional development. As a staff, we're focused PLC or PD on our weekly PLC, but we're also using our Title I to fund some of our PD development. We're using the responsive classroom training model, which we're spending $2,000 on for Title I. We're also doing our guided reading for Jan Richardson, which is $2,500 to use for spokesperson from Jan Richardson to do some more deep training there. We also have a number talk. Title I. We're also doing reading research through the classroom. At that point, I would like to thank you for your time. If there's any questions you have for me,
I have two questions.
Yes, ma'am.
With everything that has been going on in the last year, how are your students and your staff members?
That's a great question. Honestly, my students, the Weeksville students have been awesome. I can't say enough of how proud I am of them. Last year, we had 80-some% of our students come back and want to be in with us. I want to say we were the highest of all schools that wanted to be back in the building face to face. Same as this year, the community is fantastic. This year, I'll be honest, though, my teachers doing a great job, but it's balancing a lot. And when you really ask that question, it's not balancing the workload. It's when a child is quarantined, missing 14 days, they have something else, they come back, they have tardies, there's just a lot going on. And it's trying to make up that 2-year gap that we've been doing. No fault to our teachers, they're great educators. It's just a matter of the situation that we're in. So trying to put some of these pieces together with doing some intervention and focused on small group instruction is where we're going.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Schiffauer? Thank you, Mr. Schiffauer.
I got just one quick question, Mr. Schiffauer.
Yes.
Collectively, how many years together have your teachers been together? You have an average on that or no?
I'll be honest. Okay, so this is my second year there. Last year I had a heavy retirement. So we're also getting to that stage of the game where they're also starting to retire because they're getting their 30.
Okay.
And so when you look up there, we're also becoming a younger staff as well. So it's becoming balanced as of right now. And I think the upcoming year, I'm fixed to have about 2 more retired this year.
All right, but
So there's a changeover happening.
okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schiff.
Okay, now we have Ms. Amy Fife from the early college.
Good evening, Chair Warden, Vice Chair Pereza, Board of Education members, Interim Superintendent Ingram, guests, and colleagues. Thank you for this opportunity to present the highlights of the plan for ECP Early College School Improvement. So just as a reminder about the EC Early College population, yes, we have all the demographics, but just to recall the 3 reasons our students come to us is they can be possibly at-risk students, they may be first-gen college students, or they may want to accelerate their high school and college efforts. So that's why they come to us. So data included this time around. In your packets, you will see all of this data, but I would like to hit the highlights of EOC information, college grades, and then attendance. Okay, so in your packet, you're going to see this big old graph, but I'm not going to try to explain all of that today because this is all of our EOC data over the past 4 years. The next one you won't see is actually the very first 3 on that big, long graph. So I just broke this out so that you can kind of see what has happened over the last 3 years that we actually have hard data. And so if you notice, you will see the first couple of marks pretty high. And then the third one, which was last year's data, shows a pretty severe drop off. Now, I know this is unofficial data, but it is data nonetheless, and we still need to use it and look at it. The one positive that I can point out about that third bar on the graph here is that the levels 4 and 5, which is the top half up there, are still higher in number and percentage than the smaller one, which is level 3. And one of the things that I know about our students is that they need to be scoring in those 4s and 5s in order to do really, really well at the college level. And so we try really hard to help students get to that part. All right, so what we have here are two breakout graphs, and you have all of these pie charts in your longer version. But a couple of things to point out in these large graphs here. You will see that A's, B's, and C's have decreased by about 9 percentage points from the fall of 2019 to the last spring of 2021. And although that is a decrease, one of the things that I'm glad to see, even though we're working on decreasing the number of withdrawals, is that that number has gone up. But that number has gone up while D's and F's have gone down. So yeah, we've gone down a little bit and C's are higher, but we've gone up in withdrawals, which has helped kids not be so in the hole with D's and F's, having to repeat some of those courses for that reason. Attendance, thanks to the pandemic, has decreased over the last few years. So we are looking for better ways to make sure our students know that we stay in touch with them. The parents know that we contact them. I contact our students if they're out more than a couple of days. We just drop them an email, give them a telephone call, let them know we're thinking about them. And for the most part, our absences this year have been due to illnesses. I mean, kids don't stay away from school. They've got too many college classes that they cannot miss. And so our attendance tends to be quite good. All right, our goals, we have two main goals. And so one of the goals is to maintain safety, physical safety, social emotional safety. And that's our first goal. And we want students to be there, be present so that they can take advantage of all of the opportunities that we have. Some of the strategies that we have, developing graduation plans is one of our big highlights. And this is not just how to get to graduation, but what happens after graduation. Not just keeping track of them, but making sure they have a plan for after graduation. Continuing student parent-led teacher conference, student-led parent-teacher conferences. Those have been a huge success in helping students learn self-advocacy, continuing seminar groups, and then monitoring these things at the bottom, the parent-student surveys, staff health screening. That is a big part of keeping that safety in place for our students. Our second plan, or our second goal, is to prepare students academically so that they all graduate with certifications, with an associate's degree. Last year, we had one student who graduated with both, and so we were really excited about that. So we want to make sure that they have those opportunities, whether they are college-bound to continue their college studies or whether they are going into a career with some of those certifications. Those are the things we are looking for. And in order to develop this goal, we are looking at, some of those early markers, pre-tests, formative assessment, benchmarks, those things that will tell us where our students are early on so that we can give them those interventions early on, because that's how we get them to those upper level scores. And that's how we get them to be successful in college classes so that so that they have those interventions earlier and can move on. One last thing, just to point out something up there, in developing engaging lessons. And that sounds, like, well, of course we do that. But to do it with very specific content in mind, to do it with content that is sometimes difficult to teach, sometimes it's hard to learn. And so those are the kinds of things that we look for in developing these engaging lessons so that students will persist in things that are hard. And that it's that persistence that helps them out in the long run. And then our professional development, and to the side here. We've all looked at district opportunities, and of course, that's no additional cost to the school. The Design Academy, I have training in it, so that's no additional cost to the school. And then opportunities based on staff needs, we use the budget that has been provided for us by the district. And so we make judicious use of that money.
We're excited that students are back in the building. We are excited that we see them face to face every day now. And we have awesome, great students, parents, and we have great club days. And we have an art club that is going strong. We have lots of budding artists in a club that has absolutely zero professional help, just lots of enthusiasm. So we're glad for that, and along with lots of others. Other club. Questions from any of you?
Your students that graduated last year, have you heard from any of them? What are they currently doing?
Actually, I hear from them quite frequently. I'm still writing recommendations for various things. I got a call from the one young man who was in the machining courses. And he said he had put me down as a reference, and I did get a call and was able to give him a really great reference. In fact, I even directed the interviewer to our website so that he could see this young man because he was on a promotional video. So that was kind of cool. Got a call for a reference. Some of them are still applying to colleges. A few of them have waited. I don't know if you remember, but last year we had 4 students who graduated an entire year early with their associate's degrees. One young man has decided to not go directly into a university, but to sit out and do a paid internship. So we hear from them. These kids stay in touch with us, and we're so excited that they do. And many of them are still around here. Many of them have gone on to ECSU, which is really exciting too, taking advantage of that local opportunity.
And I will say, I've talked to several friends of mine who are associated with COA, and they talk very highly about our students at the early college.
Thank you for saying that. We work really hard with them to make sure that they know that they have to toe the mark. They have to do the work that the college provides for them, because we don't expect anybody to do anything easy for them or to make those kinds of sacrifices just because they're high school students. They know they have to step up to the plate.
Believe me, these people don't make it easy.
No.
So when they said
do
that, I
And
felt
I'm
pretty
glad.
proud. So
Yeah,
please pass that on to your students.
I sure will. Thank you for saying that. Archuleta?
I was just curious about what's the percentage as far as those that attend the early college program that are there seeking to go into college, and them that are seeking a career.
Right now, and I can't give you exact numbers, but that is a good number for me to have, isn't it? Yes, I wish I had that for you, but I will tell you that out of last year's class, although probably a good 90% of them expressed the desire to go on to a 4-year college, not all of them have done so yet. But I think that's okay because they're still a little young.
Yeah.
And so I think some of them are just kind of waiting a little bit and then they'll make the move.
I was just curious, nothing wrong.
I'm glad you asked that question because it is a really important one to track. And maybe once we get those post-graduation plans better developed, we'll have all of that information for you. But I absolutely will have it for you the next time I present.
Yes, ma'am. Because like Ms. Warren has already stated, you hear nothing but great things about the college program.
We're proud of it.
And congratulations on your
You all are
recognition
awesome.
as Principal of the Year.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming out today, those who were there, and I do appreciate it very much. Did you have a question?
One question. With the number decreased from last year to this year, 132 to 112, is that because of COVID, do you think, or?
Some of it is. Some of it is because students, between going into lockdown and it's only been last year, isn't it? In March to this last spring, being distance learners, being virtual learners was very difficult for some students who struggle anyway. One of
groups of the population as students who are at risk of dropping out of school. Now, they didn't drop out, but we made sure that if they didn't want to return to us, we made sure they went back to their regular high schools. So even if they don't stay with us the whole time, we try to get them back to their regular high schools so that they don't drop out. So yeah, it had a lot to do with COVID. It was tough.
Okay.
I'm impressed with the number who persevered.
Good. Thank you.
Thank y'all very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Pereza, that concludes the consolidated school improvement plans, presentations for this evening. We are asking for approval of the plans so that the principals can move forward into submitting these plans to the state.
Are there any questions for Dr. Spencer? Okay, if not, I make a motion to approve PE04, which was the plan for Weeksville Elementary, and PE05, which was the plan for the early college, as presented tonight.
I'll second it.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we accept the school improvement plans that were presented tonight. Roll call vote, please, Ms. Sawyer.
Pam Pereza,
Yes.
Rodney Walton.
Yes.
Daniel Spence.
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams is not present this evening. George Archuleta.
Yes.
Virginia Houston.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. Because Dr. Williams is not here tonight, she contacted me and let me know that she had several conflicts going on at work, and we certainly understand that. But I'm going to ask Ms. Houston if she would take us into closed session, please.
I move that the board go into closed session as allowed by NC General Statute 143-318.11A6 for the purpose of considering one or more personnel matters that are confidential under North Carolina General Statute 115C-320 and as allowed by North Carolina Statute 143-318.11.3 to consult with the board attorney regarding matters protected by the attorney-client privilege and to preserve that privilege.
Thank you, Ms. Houston. Roll call vote, please.
Do we have a second?
Oh, we need a second for that. I'm sorry.
Second.
Pam Pereza,
Yes.
Rodney Walton.
Yes.
Daniel Spence.
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams is not present this evening. George Archuleta.
Yes.
Virginia Houston.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay. Well,